G'day watchers, welcome to Perth Watch, your horology channel broadcasting from right here in Perth, Western Australia. Today I have the latest, or at least one of the later pieces from Cadisen. It's a brand I've reviewed quite a few watches from. Check out links and whatnot if you want to see previous reviews. This is their typical box, and I guess it's probably about a 3 out of 5, not particularly spinnable on this new surface that I have here. Okay, so it's just cardboard, recyclable, what have you, typical cloth instructions. And I just want to point out, this is their water resistance suggestion chart. And you can see at 100 meters, it is really rated for snorkeling, not scuba diving. Okay, at 100 meters, you really need to kind of go to 200 meters for scuba dive type of rating. Just keep that in mind as we discuss this particular watch. That's a fairly typical chart that you will see. Similar ideas from many other brands, by the way, nothing too special about that. So guys, what we have here today is the Cadisen Aqua Diver C8327. Yes, this is called the Aqua Diver. Now the retail price for this, or at least just checked just now on AliExpress, is 110 USD, and I think that's a very realistic price. Maybe sometimes it might drop below 100, but probably that's a very reasonable price to discuss the retail and value of this particular watch. Now, first up, moving to discuss the movement in here, which is usually what I do. Now, this is a Seiko NH35A, the good old NH35A. I don't think I've actually reviewed an NH35 watch for a while, but you guys know very well the specs of this movement. Quick set date, in this case, implemented at the 6 o'clock position, which is pretty good. I like that they've actually changed that up from the typical 3 o'clock. Rated accuracy, you can see there. In this case, in use, very, very good. It's running about +2 seconds per day, which is, I think, excellently regulated out of the box for this particular watch. Right, moving on to the case then. So this case is 40mm diameter, very, very typical dive style, 316L steel. Thickness is pretty good, only 12.2 to the top of the case from the bottom of the case back, 12.2 millimeters. Thickness there, 20mm lug width. You wouldn't expect anything else on a 40mm watch. Lug to lug distance between my thumbnails there, 47mm. So, maybe quite snug, maybe a bit more snug than the typical 48 that you would see on watches this size here. The overall weight, with a couple of links removed, I've removed about 4 links from this, is 136 grams. So, substantial, but not too heavy by any means. Okay, in terms of finishing, right, you got long brush along the top of the case, long brush along the side of the case. You have a polish bevel there, hopefully fairly obvious. You can see that polished bevel, fairly nicely done for the price range. And it's got circular brushing at the bottom of those lugs there. That case back is, as you can see, solid screw down. It's got circular brushing on the middle there, and it's got polish along the sides there, right? So that's solid screw down case back with a screw down and signed crown for dive style construction, but they have only rated this at 100 meters. Keep in mind that water resistance rating chart, they've basically called this Aqua Diver, but it's a snorkeling watch really. Maybe they call it, probably called the Aqua Snorkeler. That might have been a more appropriate name. Right, now moving on to the dial then. Now the dial here is not bad. It's actually a matte blue. I want to say it's a matte blue. It's got printed details, names, automatic and whatnot, printed chapter ring around the periphery, but it's got fairly nice applied high polish indices in 11 positions. Obviously there's a date window at the 6 o'clock there. The date window is bordered, so there's some finishing around it at that position there. So not bad, not completely just a naked window by any means. Hands wise, it's a polished rectangle hands, right? Haven't quite seen hands like that, I must say, at least not in the diver, I don't think. It's got a rectangular pip on that seconds hand with a bit of a sword counterbalance, a yellow splash in terms of color on the seconds hand, the automatic word and on the dial there, as well as little bits on the chapter ring. Now, this watch does come in other colorways, and that I think they come in blue and red splashes. Right, this one is a bit more of a yellow splash, is what I want to say here. Lume-wise, interestingly, it's only on the 3 hands, right? There's no lume around any of the indices around the chapter ring or the bezel. So go figure, right? Only on the 3 hands. Lume shot right here for you to see how it looks like in the dark, and it looks pretty odd. You know, just see this 3 dismembered hands floating in the dark. So have a look. Let me know what you think. Okay, in terms of crystal above it, right, we have a flat sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating. Now the coating's not too bad, right? It's not the best, but it's not too bad. There is some function to it. Around the crystal, you have a 120 click unidirectional dive style bezel with a monochromatic ceramic insert. Okay, nothing too special there. You've got that graduations for the first 15 minutes, and then just, you know, hour markings or 5-minute markings after that. 45, 30, 15, you know, in the compass numerals with that triangle at the 12 o'clock position. Now let's listen to it. 5, 10. Okay, so 120 clicks, unidirectional, not too loud, minimal backplay. So the feel is actually not bad at all, I have to say. For 120 bucks, you know, how much can you really expect? This is actually pretty good for what you're paying here. Right, that's the entire description of the case. Let's move on to this bracelet. Long brush, 7-piece per link. I don't know what kind of bracelet you call this. Maybe a little bit of an engineered bracelet. I don't know the name of this. Definitely not a beads of rice. It's a bit different to that. Right, it does taper from 20 to 18 millimeters. It's got solid end links, of course, and the adjustment is just push pin. There's no screw on this particular watch here. The class is pressed metal. It is 19.5 millimeters wide. It's, you know, as you can see, this part is actually just pressed metal, but the arms are solid. It's got a push button, you know, release there, and just 2-point adjustment, meaning it's really just to give a bit of a half link position here, nothing more than that, because there is no half links as part of this bracelet provision here. Okay, so that's it, guys. That's the entire description of this watch. Pop it on the wrist for a wrist shot for you guys. And there we go. The Cadisen Aqua Diver Snorkeler on my 17 centimeter wrist. And that's how that, you know, bracelet looks like there. And, you know, you have to say fairly pleasant because there's only 12.2 millimeter stick. And remember, lug to lug distance 47. It's not too big at all on this 40 millimeter piece. Okay, that's it, guys, for the description of this particular piece. You know, now pros and cons. What have I enjoyed about this watch? Look, I think it's an interesting and original combination. Haven't quite seen this combination. Like, look, none of this are entirely original, but I think the combination, haven't quite seen this. Rectangle hands like this on a diver. You know, the indices on the dial. That's probably one of the best features. They kind of do pop off the dial here. Nice and brightly polished. That's possibly the best part, I reckon. $410. Extremely fair package. Very, very fair value. Good value, I would say. You know, you're getting that Seiko movement, sapphire crystal, ceramic bezel insert. A pretty solid case with screw down construction here. You know, there's nothing really that I'm going to knock about this case. In fact, it reminds me of Spinnaker cases, which, you know, Spinnaker watches usually get fairly good comments about the quality of their cases. So this is not far off that. Weaknesses? Well, yes, there are a few gripes I have about this. So look, it feels like one too many colors on this particular colorway. You know, got the blue dial, yellow splashes, black ceramic, you know, with white markings on that ceramic insert there, and then you got the steel here. So, you know, how many colors is that? About 5. So, you know, it's a bit busy. I think it's a bit too colorful. I probably should have just gone for the black dial. That would have removed one more color and maybe look a bit more, you know, reasonable. You know, even the white, I think, does look a little bit too colorful. That's just my opinion. I think the clasp is terrible. You know, the bracelet is not bad, but this just feels a little bit cheapy, right? Like they lost, you know, budget when they reached the back here. And, you know, the biggest gripe of all, probably, what's with the pretend specifications? I mean, you call this the Aqua Diver. Why is it only 100 meters? I think you could easily have pushed to 200 to properly give a dive watch. And why not give enough lume to at least qualify as a diver? There's no lume around the dial. There's no lume on the bezel. I don't get it. Just do it properly. If you want to call this a diver, that's what I reckon. So there you go. My views, my review of this Cadisen Aqua Diver. Let me know what you think in the bottom, guys. Always look forward to comments and conversation. Thank you again for joining me on this review. I'll see you guys next time.